Let's talk about a one take with a pre-programmed flight path using a drone like the Air 3. Starting with, why would you want to do this? Flying drones is hard. You got to master these sticks. It's not exactly intuitive, and unless you're just amazing at manual drone flying, it's hard to get the camera and the drone where you want it. It's hard to not crash into the water. It's hard to do lots of things. It is easier to fly an FPV drone like the Avata using the motion controller and the goggles, but you are limited for the most part to getting shots that are mostly just chasing. It's easy to chase the Efoiler or whatever water sport you're doing. Easy to fly an FPV drone if you can see where you're going in the goggles. Very hard to fly if you're moving in directions that you can't see. This drone, on the other hand, and with a manual controller like this versus the motion controller, it does allow you to do, things like parallel traveling shots, so you can get move at the same speed while aiming the camera at the Efoiler, so you can get those nice moving alongside the Efoiler, or where the drone's flying away from, so that you can see the front of the Efoiler in the shot. If you really can get if you can get a pilot that's really good with this stuff, you will get way better shots with manual flying a drone like this than you will with an FPV. But even novices with the FPV can get some very cool looking chase shots, follow shots. So we actually have been really impressed with those, and other than the fact that my drone pilot keeps crashing them into the water, once because she was bad, it's pilot error shit. Yeah, I do not have a great drone pilot. I have a friend named Laura who's got some decent video game skills for a girl, but still, she's nothing compared to like my son, on the other hand, who can pick up any device like this, master it in a couple hours, and has never crashed it and all that. So yeah, if you are like me, where you have a friend like Laura and you have a drone like this, the best way to get good looking shots is with a pre-programmed flight path, so that no one has to fly this. And then all you have to do is be in the right place at the right time, and you'll get good shots. So here was our mission. The goal was to get a single take all the way around the lake and go into all the little nooks and stuff, and keep me in frame the entire time. No cuts. I wanted a video with no cuts. And we were able to pull it off. So let me show you how I did that, and how you can program your drone to create a pre-programmed flight path that you can then use to make your own stuff, and you don't really even need a pilot to do all that much. You can pre-program the camera, like where it's aiming, and I was able to get some decent shots of that, but it is easier to just then let your pilot only control the position. Like, it'll fly, it's gonna go around the lake the way you program to, but you can then have your drone pilot just control the yaw and the camera and the tilt. So like the drone's flying itself, and then just let your drone pilot just steer the cameras to just keep you in frame. And that worked pretty well. Some advice that I would recommend is be further away from your star than even perhaps you'd like. It just makes keeping them in frame easier. And then you can use an AI up-resing software like Topaz, for instance, to then take the footage where you're really far away from the drone, and you can double it or triple it or quadruple it, and then it does a very good job, and you can then make it seem as though you're a lot closer to the camera than you are, and still keep it 4K high resolution. That's what I did in the Flightpath One video, which you should be able to click on up here, or maybe it's up here. I can't remember which side. I think it's this side. I don't know. Look on your screen. It should be there. And I'm sure it'll appear after this plays, so you can take a look at it. So there you go. Pre-program a Flightpath. Decide whether or not you're going to pre-program all the camera moves, or if you have a drone pilot, just have them steer the camera. That's actually pretty easy. Almost anyone can do it. The advice I'd give you there is, for your drone pilot, little tiny, little soft moves, just barely moving. These big ones, not great. And you know what? This drone does have a telephoto and a wide angle built into it. Don't bother with the telephoto. That's for looking at, I don't know, landmarks or something that don't move. Laura kept trying to jump into that one, and I kept telling her, don't do that, because like I would much rather have me far away, because I can always up-res it, losslessly up-res it, but I can't make myself reappear in the scene if you keep running me off the frame, right? I can't AI generate me back in, or I guess I don't want to. So yeah. All right, I will now teach you how to program your drone with a pre-programmed flight path. But I'm going to go inside because it's too glassy out here. It'll have too many reflections. All right, this is what the drone screen usually looks like. And what we're going to do, first of all, I prefer to use the satellite view, the top-down view. I prefer to use it in satellite mode, not just GPS mode. So start by clicking on this little corner piece here. And then click on the two little squares so you can change the satellite mode. And it's right above the little airplane symbol here. So I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to click on satellite. Now you'll see that the image on the screen is a top-down view of my lake. Okay, I just find this easier to line up with things and settle your targets and stuff and that kind of thing. So then we're going to activate the waypoint targeting pre-programmed flight mode. That button is right here where my finger is, right there. It looks like a little triangle that's chasing a big S turn. All right, so you click on that, and that should bring up this little menu. So you'll see here you've got point of interest and you've got waypoint. I've got it set to waypoint, so let's set a waypoint. And the way that you set a waypoint is just to click somewhere on your screen. So I'm going to zoom in on my dock. Make sure it's my dock and not my neighbor's dock. Okay, and I'm going to set a waypoint. I'm going to set one right here on the side of it. And you'll see that a little green arrow appears there to signify that that waypoint is set. So I've got my first waypoint in there. You see it's number 1. And then I'm going to set another one just so I can illustrate a point. I'm going to set another one over here. Now you can see that each of these little green circles, they actually have little arrows on them, and that tells you which way which way the camera's pointing according to the program. Now I prefer to just let my pilot deal with that themselves. So I'm going to zoom back out here so you can see the whole screen. And I'm going to go back to my waypoint number 1. I do that by just clicking this number 1 down here. Okay, so I'm going to click on that. Let's take a look at what's going on with our waypoint 1. Right now it's got camera action none. And what we're going to do is tell it to start recording. Okay, now it's going to start recording when it hits that first waypoint. And it's moving up to an altitude of 164 feet, which is a lot higher than we need it. So I'm going to drop that down to 20 feet. How about we start there? And then the gimbal speed. Now you can set a global speed by clicking adjust the settings here, this little blue thing. Right now the global speed, let's just make it to custom. I'm going to set it to, I like to efoil when I'm being filmed at about 22 miles an hour. So I'm going to set it to like 22.14 miles per hour. Okay. And I can, this little button right here, I can hit apply to all, which I'm a huge fan of. So I can set one and then it'll be applied to all the other ones. So I'm going to hit OK. Then see, follow course heading. I like to set that to manual. That way my pilot's controlling it. It's really hard to align both the efoiler and the drone to always match up. Like you're basically doing performative art here. It is very challenging to get this to all line up. So if you have someone who can just interactively aim that for you, that's better. Same goes for tilt. So instead of setting custom and having that pre-programmed, I just let the pilot set the tilt as well. Manual zoom, same thing there. Let them do zoom. Now, we've pretty much locked in our first waypoint. Waypoint 1 right off the dock here. It's done. I'm happy with it. So I'm going to jump to waypoint number 2. Now what I like to do here for the second waypoint is keep it close to the first waypoint and just just real close. Why? Because it lets me kind of, as an efoiler, it helps me get set up in the water. Like if it just takes off from point 1 and starts its flight, I'm not able to necessarily catch it or be in the right place at the right time. So sometimes I'll just kind of start with a little zigzag on the way out. That gives my pilot time to get get her camera aligned on me. It gives me a chance to get myself set up, get my speed set up, get my my feet set up and everything. And so what I'll do is, and I'm just going to jump through it. Like I kind of do it. I've been happy setting this zigzag to get out into the water. I just found that, boy, when we do that, we're both better aligned. All right. And so I'll do like a few points of zigzag here. Then let's see, the path that I set for the Flightpath One video was kind of like this. I sent it off into this part of the lake. All right, and then I had it curve over here. Then I made sure I didn't cut into this guy's yard. So I put another point up here. Then to make sure that everybody got it, we made it all the way around the lake, I put a point over here. That allowed the drone to be on the inside of the lake and me to be against the trees, which was kind of cool. As it turned out in the Flightpath One video, I actually ended up going with kind of being higher in the air for that point. But we have done other videos where we've had the trees moving past me in the backdrop. It looks pretty cool. Then let's see, then I scooped out this bay in front of the beach, and then I brought it home. Like that. And then I don't usually turn off things like, I let my drone pilot then kind of take over to see if anything cool happens at the end. I don't have it stop recording, or you could, if you wanted to, have it stop recording or take a photo or whatever, but I just let it keep doing its thing. Okay, now to make sure all these are the way I want them, you'll notice that the default setting for altitude is 164 feet, which isn't ideal for efoiling. That's a bit high up in the air. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to set a new global of, say, kind of whatever you're comfortable with. 9's a little close to the water. You want to set a reasonable altitude here. I mean, we sometimes have let it drop down to like 9 feet. But if the lake is glassy, you'll find that sometimes your drone just absolutely will not see the surface of the water, and it can start dipping really fast. That's one of the reasons you need a pilot on hand to take control of the drone in case it does something wacky. So, 16 feet, let's call it there. And then I'm going to just hit this apply to all button. Now they're all set to 16 feet. Now you can do some fancy stuff, and I did in the Flightpath One. Like, you could set one of these for higher. I think that I actually set this first one, which is kind of nice when you're setting up. I set this first one to like 50 feet in the air. And so here, I'll set it 59 feet. And that way it'll come down between Flightpath 5 and Flightpath 6, waypoint 6. So you can also, let's see, so gimbal speed, custom, let's set this, I'm going to set a global 22. Okay, so we're going to apply that to all. And again, if you want to do something fancy, and we did in this video, I believe that in this one, we told it to take this corner much, much faster, right? So that I could do something bigger, or, because I was on the inside of the bay, I'd be able to mess around there and it would wrap around me a lot tighter. So what you could do is for this one, I'm going to set that one higher to, let's say, yeah, let's do like 26.8 miles an hour. Okay. Then let's see, anything else we should do? Oh yeah, let's make sure that all of our, since we're having a pilot fly us, we're going to set all of them to manual and apply them to all. And same goes for the camera tilt, just like I showed you on the first one. Custom, manual, apply to all. Same goes for the zoom, that kind of thing. There's some other options there, like you could set, it to hover at a certain point, that kind of thing. You could also play around with points of interest, but they're really not for moving targets. They're more for like landmarks. You want to spin the drone around, that kind of thing. So with that, all you need to do then, you'll see all your waypoints here. And, you could have it go out and take pictures of all of them so that these little icons would be replaced by pictures, which would help you reference them, that kind of thing. Let's see. And then if you click this little piece of paper button right here, this little document button, you could save that. This is a program, and you could give it a name, that kind of thing. So like, we could hit this little pencil, which my fingers are I set a waypoint. Yeah, I screwed up. This thing it needs a stylus, I tell you. But anyway, so I set this accidental waypoint out in the middle, number 12 here. That was an accident. I just happened to tap the screen. So the way to get rid of a waypoint is just click on it, waypoint number 12, and then click this little trash can right here, and then say yes, delete. There you go. So that's easy enough. So yeah, you can save this and you can recall it on later days or whatever. Like we kept using the same flight paths because it took me a couple days to practice this to make sure I was in the right spot at the right time, and that way if you're watching the drone, you just aren't going to e-foil as well. At least I don't e-foil as well when I'm watching for the drone. So the better I could just know where it was and glance at just very occasionally to make sure my pacing is right, is better. Then you can hit the next button here, and then when you're ready, you can just click this go button. Okay, make sure that your drone's in a good place to launch from. And I would tell your drone pilot, be ready to push the cancel button, the pause button, which there's a hard pause button, and then on screen there's another pause button once it's in flight. But if I were to right now hit the go button, it would immediately go try to do this flight path. And right now that would be dumb because it's under trees. We don't want to do that. Right now I've just got it up in my yard, and it would maybe get around them because it's got really good obstacle avoidance, but don't tempt the gods with your hardware. Geez, right? So yeah, you hit this go button, and it will do its program. It'll immediately start. So make sure you got your rider ready before the pilot hits that and everything's good to go and you're in your right places, and then boom, just do your program. You'll find this produces very smooth, very consistent shots. You can practice them over and over again. You don't need to like become a master with the manual controller. You can make sure that you can choreograph this so that your drone's, heck, doing circles around you or whatever you want to see. And yeah, I think that this, for people who aren't super skilled drone pilots, and hey, all you super skilled drone pilots, I respect you, but you can keep your fucking hate to yourselves. Like, I don't have time to learn how to fly a drone while efoiling. And I can only ask my friends for so much. And if you want to trade efoil lessons for drone piloting, hey, drop me a line. But like, I get that for you, this is easy. And for me, doing other things are easy. They would probably be impossible for you. Judging by most of the videos I see of drone pilots and what their bodies look like, I would assume efoiling may be quite challenging for a very large number of you. So there you go. All right, hope you enjoyed. I hope that you get great footage. Can't wait if you make some good content of efoiling. Like, I want to see it. So come to this video and give us the link to the video you shot, your drone footage of you flying around, because I want to see your stuff. I really do. All right, cool. Thanks for watching.